Governor, we're going to start in Erie, and Tim writes in, Governor Wolf, I'm a 59-year-old man on disability with no health insurance. I receive $1,104 a month from Social Security. Imagine my shock when I applied for Medicaid under your newly expanded Healthy PA Medicaid program, which that's not what it's called anymore,
No.
and found out I did not qualify because I make too much money. That's $1,104 a month. The cutoff for a single person is $966 a month. How is this fair? I need health coverage and was counting on enrolling in Medicaid. Are his numbers accurate on that?
Yeah, I think it's $990, and they're set by the federal. What he's looking at is he's 59, and I think Medicare has a provision for disabled persons under 65, but you have to be at 100% of the federal poverty level, which calculates as a single person. And that calculates right now, I think, to $990. So he's right. Unfortunately, he didn't qualify. And those standards come from the federal government. We just administer that guideline.
What can folks do who just come in right under that line?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's a poignant one. I'm really sorry for Tim that the effort is to try to expand access to health care, and as he points out, there are people who have been left behind. With the expansion of Medicaid, we now have 625,000 people who now have health coverage who didn't have it before just a year ago. And we've reduced the uninsured rate from 14 to 8%, so it's made a big progress. But as Tim points out, there's still people left outside of the safety net here.
Yeah. I want to move on. Jeff from Jonestown, that's in Lebanon County. Jeff writes, all I hear is that we need more money for education. I haven't heard anyone talk about how to fix the education system. Before I support more of my income to pay more taxes, I'd like you to answer these questions. Let's just take them one by one. First question, what is the problem with Pennsylvania's education system?
Well, first of all, I think Jeff's raising a really good question, and I think taxpayers in Pennsylvania have an absolute duty to understand, make sure that their dollars are being invested wisely. I think the problem with education in Pennsylvania is the distribution of the funds that we have. There are a number of cases where you have a school district that kids are getting free iPads right across the street. Schools are having trouble affording toilet paper. I think we're one of the few countries in the world that funds education like this, where the greater your need, the less you get, which is ironic. We should do better than that. And Pennsylvania is one of the worst. So I think the problem, part of the problem, is the way we distribute funds, and that too many school districts are getting too little investment. So that's a problem. We need accountability. We need to make sure that we're comfortable with the idea that the children who are going through the school system are getting a good education, because we as citizens need them to get a good education. We need to do this right. So I think the real problem is right now that depending on your zip code, you may or may not be getting the education we need you to get.
Jeff's second question was, how do you plan on fixing it? Is it just a matter of looking at that distribution formula and trying to figure something out?
I think there are a couple of things. First of all, the distribution formula, I support the bipartisan commission on the fair funding, which I'm hoping will become law. And I support that. That would be a fairer way to distribute the funds. I think we need a fair way to raise the funds. And I think folks like Jeff's impatience comes in part, I would imagine, if not Jeff, a lot of his fellow Pennsylvanians, from the way we raise it. We put too high a reliance on the property tax, and the property tax is an inherently unfair tax, especially people on fixed incomes or people who have other expenses. The state, by not picking up its fair share, forces property taxpayers to pick up a big burden, and that becomes a regressive tax. The poorer the area you live in, the higher your property taxes are going to be, and that's not.
Not to mention the fact that means you never really own your house,
and you never own your house. Yeah, to a certain extent, that's
because it could be taken away from you if you don't pay your taxes.
Yeah,
even if you don't have a mortgage.
Yeah, there are a lot of problems with the property tax. I think there are other problems in terms of the implementation of the way we assess again, the mathematics of the property tax system. The less wealthy the area you live in, the higher your nominal tax rate has to be to collect ironically, less money. It's not a good system.
Jeff's third question was, how will the new tax money be used to fix the problem? I think by new tax money, he's talking about, increasing that line item. Obviously, I don't know that there's a specific tax designated for increased education.
Well, the idea would be that it's a broad-based Commonwealth tax rather than the property tax. And if you have a broad-based tax and the state is picking up, rather than being 45th in the country, that we're somewhere maybe in the middle of the pack, that would have a big impact on reducing local property tax payers' burden. I think what we have to do, though, is as we do that, make sure we're saying to property taxpayers the local school district is not going to come back and bite you a couple of years down the road once the state's share has increased. We need to give taxpayers at the local level confidence that when the state does its share, that they will get the relief that they need. I think property tax relief is a big issue.